Shocking truth, girl speaks 8 languages. Millionaire stunned while others laughed forever. In a small, quiet town, whispers filled the air. A girl named Mia, no older than 15, stood in front of a crowd at the annual fair. The excitement buzzed, but it was the girl at the center that captured everyone's attention. With fiery red hair that tumbled over her shoulders and bright green eyes sparkling with mischief, she was anything but ordinary. Just moments ago, she had stunned the local millionaire, Mr. Thompson, as he boasted about his own accomplishments. "I've traveled the world, learned the best 4 languages. What about you, girl?" He laughed dismissively. But Mia surprised everyone, her voice smooth as silk, as she replied in flawless Mandarin, then switched to Spanish, French, German, and more. The crowd gasped. Faces turned from laughter to disbelief. You could almost hear a pin drop. A strange energy crackled in the air as people began to lean in, disbelief melting away into awe. It was as if time froze, revealing a mysterious secret hidden within the girl. How could she know so much? Was she a genius, or was this magic? A sudden shift happened. As she continued to demonstrate her skills, some in the crowd smirked, still skeptical. There were murmurs of doubt. "No way she's real!" someone yelled. But just when they thought they could dismiss her, she had a way of making them question everything they believed. Even Mr. Thompson's face twisted from smug amusement to sheer shock. Every language that rolled off her tongue seemed to weave a spell, wrapping everyone in brilliant wonder. It felt like tales from the old days, stories of enchanted oracles who spoke truths and mysteries known only to them. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Suddenly, a hand shot up in the crowd. It was Sarah, the school queen bee, with a snarl on her face. "You think you're special? Just because you can string words together?" Her voice carried sharp disdain, slicing through the moment. Mia's smile flickered for a second, but the fire in her eyes returned. A heartbeat pulsed in the silence, the tension alive and thick, as if the universe itself held its breath. What would happen next? Would the magic she conjured with her words thrive or fade? With the crowd hanging in rapt attention, a storm of emotions churned within Mia. She felt it in her bones, a mixture of fear, excitement, and a strange urge to reveal even more. But as another voice joined the hateful chorus, the air grew heavy, filled with doubt and disbelief. What secrets lay tangled in her past? What drove her to learn those languages? As she took a deep breath, ready to unleash her next words, the question lingered. Would her voice rise above the mocking, or would she be silenced forever? The air shifted again, a charged silence falling upon the crowd. Just when Mia thought she could rise above the jeers, she felt a surge of energy course through her. It was more than just language, it was the heartbeat of the crowd that resonated within her. Their murmurs mixed into a rising tide of confusion and curiosity. "Enough of this!" Mia shouted, her voice unwavering, slicing through the doubts like a knife through butter. "I'm not just here to perform for your amusement." The fire in her green eyes gleamed like embers, igniting the spark of rebellion against doubt. The crowd quieted, astonished not only by her words but by the authority behind them. Sarah flinched, caught off guard. There was something unearthly about Mia, and for a fleeting moment, even the skeptics softened. Mia took a breath, her heart pounding, and in that instant she decided to reveal something deeper than mere words. She continued, her voice steady, "You think this is a trick? A joke? These languages, they speak more than just words. They are my whispers in the dark, my refuge. They are a part of who I am." The electrifying crackle in the air intensified. With every spoken word, she unraveled herself, revealing pieces of her soul. She spoke of her family, her struggles, and the nights spent listening to foreign songs that became her lullabies. The crowd began to shift, Emotions reflecting in their faces, their laughter turned to understanding, curiosity blossomed into empathy. But Sarah was relentless. And what's your point? Just because you can speak a language doesn't mean you're special. She shot back, her voice full of venom. Yet even as she spoke, Mia sensed a tremble in Sarah's bravado. Feeling alive in the moment, Mia leaned forward, her voice low. What if I told you every language I speak carries secrets from my past? Secrets that could change everything you think you know? Whispers spread through the crowd like wildfire. Where moments before there had been skepticism, now intrigue held them captive. A flash of uncertainty crossed Mr. Thompson's face as he witnessed how the energy shifted. This was more than just a performance. It was a glimpse into uncharted depths, a challenge laid bare before the masses. Mia had turned the tide, and he began to wonder if perhaps there was more to this girl than he had ever imagined. At that moment, something shifted violently in the crowd. A loud crash interrupted the moment. Someone had knocked over a stand filled with brightly colored balloons. Gasps erupted as laughter of a different kind rippled through the crowd, but it was laced with panic. Mia's heart raced, the sound a jarring punctuation to her emotional proclamation. "Quiet!" she called, rising above the chaos. But just as she took a breath to ground herself, she noticed something strange, a figure slipping away from the crowd, eyes fixated on her, pulse quickening under the flickering fair lights. Mia's instincts flared. Who was that? Why did they look so familiar? The crowd's energy wavered between amusement and confusion, but Mia knew in her gut that the weight of this moment was far from over. As she turned back to the audience, her heart pounding louder than ever, she realized this wasn't just a challenge. It was a revelation of truth, one that could lead to deeper discoveries and even greater dangers. What would happen next hung in the air, ripe with anticipation. Who was the shadow in the crowd, and what secrets did they hold? Mia's eyes narrowed, searching the crowd for that familiar face. Her heart raced, each beat thrumming like a war drum against her ribs. The figure moved with purpose, slipping away just as the crowd erupted in laughter, unaware of everything else. "Hey! Stop!" she shouted, adrenaline surging through her. But the figure didn't falter. They melted into the shadows of the fairgrounds. Panic gripped her chest. Whoever they were, they could be the key to unraveling not just her mysteries, but the secrets haunting her life. "Mia!" a voice called, snapping her back. It was Sarah, with that same smirk painted across her face but with uncertainty lurking beneath. "What's wrong? Seeing ghosts now?" The crowd chuckled, but Mia barely noticed. Ignoring Sarah, Mia strained to catch another glimpse of the figure. This was a chance, a critical moment. "Who are you?" she whispered to the air, desperate for an answer as if it could somehow reach the phantom now lost among the bright lights and laughter. Mr. Thompson, looking baffled, whispered something under his breath, half mocking, half curious. "You've lost it, girl." But Mia didn't care. She stepped away from the stage, creeping toward the edge of the crowd. Each step felt like a leap into the unknown, uncertainty clawing at her mind. Just as she reached the fringes of the gathering, a loud bang echoed from behind. A nearby ride, the Ferris wheel, had stopped, lights flickering ominously. Voices raised in shock, laughter turning to concern. "What's happening?" someone yelled, and chaos began to cascade like waves, people rushing toward the rides. Mia turned, torn between following the figure that had slipped away and the frantic crowd. "Stay back!" she shouted. But just then, she caught the tail end of a jacket disappearing behind a food stand. It was them. The familiarity gripped her, bow rose in her throat. Her instincts screamed for her to chase, but the fear of losing control held her back. "Who are you?" she thought again, desperation spilling from her mind. Something told her this was about more than just her. It was intertwined with the very secrets she held. As uniformed workers rushed to secure the Ferris wheel and the crowd swelled in panic, Mia could hear snippets of conversations, fears rising above simple amusement. "Do you think it's safe?" someone asked. "I've never seen it break down like this." Mia pressed on, pushing through the chaos, calling after the figure. "Wait!" she shouted, her voice rising above the clamor, but she was too late. A gust of wind whipped through her hair, and the figure disappeared entirely, swallowed up by the mass of confusion. Breathless, anger bubbled within her alongside a roar of frustration. Suddenly, a hand clasped her shoulder. She spun around. Mr. Thompson stood there, face pale, eyes wide. "Mia, you need to come with me. We might need to talk now." "What do you mean?" She felt the world tilt, uncertainty morphing her resolve into anxiety. "That figure, they aren't just anyone. I think they're connected to you in ways you can't possibly imagine." His voice hurried, urgent. Mia's breath hitched as she searched his eyes, feeling the weight of his words. Hope mixed with dread what could possibly connect them, and then, booming laughter erupted from somewhere deeper in the fair, drawing her attention, while Mr. Thompson pulled her toward a quieter spot. "You don't get it. This is big. We're not safe here." The words hung heavy in the air. Mia's heart raced anew as the reality of the situation began to set in. "What do you know?" she asked sharply, desperate for answers. His expression shifted, a shadow passing across his face. "Let us just say some secrets are worth more than you could ever imagine." Mia felt the ground shift beneath her, the balance of her world teetering precariously. Who was that figure? And what secrets did they hold that could unravel everything? As curiosity and dread coiled together, her journey was just beginning. The horizon glinted under the fading twilight as she stood rooted, wondering if she was ready to uncover the truths that waited just at the edge of the fair. Mia's pulse raced as she stared at Mr. Thompson, his words echoing ominously in her mind. "We're not safe here." A chill ran down her spine. The merry sounds of the fair felt distant and surreal, like a dream fading into an uncomfortable awakening. "Why?" she blurted, eyes darting from the faces of the crowd to the shadows that had swallowed that mysterious figure. She could still feel the pull of unanswered questions like a magnet drawing her toward danger. "There are people who don't want you to find out," he said, his voice lowered but urgent. "Not just about that person you saw. About you. About everything." "What do you mean about everything?" Panic laced her voice as she struggled to comprehend his words. "What do you know about me?" Mr. Thompson glanced over his shoulder as if expecting someone to jump out of the crowd. "You don't understand. That figure is just the tip of the iceberg. There are layers beneath things about your past." His words faltered as he searched the throng of people, his eyes widening with fear. "Things I wasn't supposed to tell you." Mia's heart sank. Her mind raced with memories, fragments of her childhood she wished she could forget. Were they coming back to her? Were answers hidden among the laughter and lights? Suddenly, a shriek pierced the air, echoing from the Ferris wheel area. Heads turned, and a collective gasp rose like a wave, then crashed down into whispers of fear. Mia instinctively moved closer to Mr. Thompson, who had gone an ashen hue. "What was that?" she asked, her throat dry. "We need to move now," he urged, grabbing her wrist and pulling her away from the chaotic noise. They squeezed through the thinning crowd, the vibrant colors of the fair morphing into a blur. Mia's thoughts spiraled. Who was this figure? And why did the connection feel so deep, like a ghost tugging at her soul? As they ducked behind a row of game booths, Mr. Thompson steadied his breath, eyes scanning the area. "If they find you, Mia," he paused, uncertainty in his voice. "You might not have another chance to get those answers." Mia clenched her fists, rage and fear coiling within her. "I'm not running away. I need to know." "You don't understand," he pressed, his voice almost pleading. "These people, they've kept secrets for years. Just trust me. We need to get to a safe place first." But that was the thing. Mia didn't just want answers, she needed them. "What are you so afraid of?" And then there it was, a flash of movement at the edge of her vision. The silhouette stood still for a moment before walking toward their hiding spot. Mia's breath caught in her throat, dread flooding her senses. "Mia," Mr. Thompson whispered, "stay low." She crouched instinctively, heart pounding louder than the surrounding chaos. The silhouette moved closer, the dim light casting recognizable features into sharper focus. Mia's breath hitched as recognition washed over her. It was the figure from before, closer than ever. Mia, the figure murmured, voice barely rising above the din. You don't know what you're getting into. With a jolt, anxiety surged through Mia, spreading like wildfire. Do you know me? She called out, fighting the urge to flee. More than you think. The figure stepped into the light, and Mia gasped. The face was someone she never expected to see. Mr. Thompson's grip tightened on her arm. No! Don't! But the world around Mia faded. All she could see was the figure who stood at the edge of everything she'd ever known. Just as their eyes met, a blinding flare erupted nearby and shattered the air as panic surged through the crowd once more. Everything turned to chaos. Mia! We need to go! Mr. Thompson shouted, pulling her away just as the world erupted into frantic movement. As they stumbled into the throng, Mia's mind was bombarded with a whirlwind of questions, but one resounded above them all. What was the truth she was so desperate to uncover? And just like that, the figure disappeared into the crowd as the fairground lights flickered ominously, leaving Mia grasping at shadows of her past. Would she have the strength to face it, or was she already in over her head? Each heartbeat hammered in Mia's ears as Mr. Thompson dragged her through the chaos, the lights of the fair flickering like a warning. She fought against the rush, adrenaline clashing with the need for clarity. You have to tell me who that was, she shouted over the roar of panic that filled the air. Not here, he insisted, his voice barely audible. They ducked behind a food stall, the smell of popcorn and fried dough filling the air, mingling with the sharp tang of fear. Mia's mind raced. Please! I can't just let this go. She caught a glimpse of the figure retreating into the shadows and felt a pull in her chest. It's not safe, Mia. You need to understand she's connected to everything. They'll come for you. What do you mean, they? Her voice trembled, and impatience clawed at her. You're not making sense. His eyes darted around, wide with the kind of fear that took root in deep, dark places. There's a reason you were raised in the dark about your past. They've kept you hidden for a long time. That's why you can't stay here. They don't want you remembering. What am I supposed to remember? The ground beneath her felt unstable, like she was teetering on the edge of a precipice. It was as if Mr. Thompson held the keys to a door she desperately needed to open. The truth, Mia. The truth isn't pretty. Just then, a commotion erupted nearby, and Mia instinctively crouched lower. Shadows moved between the booths, mingling with the panic. Her heart leapt as she caught a fleeting glance of a figure clad in dark clothing. A cloak draped over their shoulders, obscuring their face, and Mia instinctively knew they were part of the danger looming over her. They're here, Mr. Thompson murmured, his face paling. We have to move. She didn't budge. What if I don't want to run anymore? Then you'll put yourself right in their path. They want to silence you. His urgency rose. Listen, you're strong. But you need to trust me, to survive. Mia's chest tightened. And if I don't trust you? Then you risk losing everything, including your chance to learn who you are. His eyes locked onto hers, willing her to understand. In that moment, an inexplicable decision crystallized within her. She wanted the truth more than anything. The figure they had come so close she could not let fear dictate her choices. Let us go, she whispered, her resolve hardening. They slipped out from their hiding place, weaving past chaotic clusters of people, hurried footsteps and raised voices filling the air like an impending storm. As they rounded a corner, Mia spotted the figure again, but this time, they were no longer shrouded by shadows. A melodic laugh broke through the tension, drawing her eyes. How could someone be laughing now? The figure turned just enough for Mia to glimpse the unmistakable features. It was a face she had seen countless times in photos her mother. But why was she here? Why now, when it was supposed to be a time of celebration? Mia! Mr. Thompson's voice sliced through her thoughts, bringing her back to the moment. We have to keep moving. But she was already running ahead, desperation fueling her. Mom! A wave of silence rolled through the fairground. The crowd parted as if she'd cast a spell, all eyes tracing her path toward the figure. Her mother turned, an abrupt shock flashing across her face. Then, just like that, she vanished into thin air. Mia! No! Pain surged in Mia's chest, hot and raw. She was right there. Mr. Thompson pulled her back, urgency renewed. We need to go now. They won't stop until they have you. With her heart in her throat and the echoes of her mother's haunting laughter ringing in her ears, Mia ran, the pieces of a puzzle scattered before her but now sharper than ever. What secrets lay entrenched in her legacy? As the fair faded behind them, a looming question remained: would Mia uncover the truth, or would she find herself lost in the shadows of the past? The darkness enveloped Mia and Mr. Thompson as they sprinted toward the back exit of the fair, shadows melding into the night. The sounds of laughter and music faded behind them, replaced by the thudding of their footsteps against the pavement, echoing against the chill that settled in the air. Mia, we need to hurry, Mr. Thompson urged, his grip firm on her arm. Mia glanced back, the silhouettes of the fair growing distant, but her heart pounded louder. What if she is still there? My mother! I saw her! The image of her mother's fleeting face loomed large in her mind, a mixture of familiarity and fear. If she was alive, why hadn't anyone come for her? Why be hidden away? You can't afford to think about that, Mr. Thompson said, urgency sharpening his voice but not enough to mask the tremor of worry. I promise, we'll find answers, but first, we have to get away from them. Who are they? She gasped, stumbling slightly as they veered into an alley. The narrow space was dark, the only light filtering from the moon above. You can't just keep saying that without telling me. There's no time, he replied, glancing over his shoulder. If they locate you, it won't just be answers thereafter, it'll be your life. She knew he was right, yet every fiber of her being screamed for answers. What have I been hidden from? What is so dangerous that they need to silence me? Mr. Thompson's eyes darkened. It's tied to your past, Mia. Your mother, she was part of something immense, something powerful. You hold the key. They don't want you to remember who you are, or what you're capable of. Mia felt her temperature drop. What does that mean? What abilities? He hesitated, his breath quickening. You think they picked you just for fun? There are things about you, things the world doesn't know. Every word husked into her mind like grains of sand falling through an hourglass. Are you saying I have powers? Not powers. Knowledge. You possess skills that can shake the foundations, he said, and it struck her then a fragmented recollection of foreign languages, of intricate patterns swirling like stardust in her dreams. They have been training you. That's why you were raised away from the truth. Footsteps echoed behind them, sharp and deliberate, puncturing the tension in the air. Panic coursed through Mia, pushing adrenaline through every vein. We can't stop. They're coming. No sooner had she said it than a flicker of motion caught her eye. A figure, serene yet menacing, slipped into the mouth of the alley. Cloaked in shadows, the face was obscured but the aura was forceful. There's no escape, Mia. The voice dripped with an icy calm, sending chills down her spine. Mia, don't engage, Mr. Thompson whispered, pulling her back, but she stood frozen, a blend of fear and fierce curiosity rooted in her spot. She stepped forward. Who are you? A grin appeared beneath the cloak, too wide, too hungry. You'll find out soon enough. We've waited a long time for you to remember. Then, before either of them could react, the figure lunged forward, and the world around Mia began to blur into chaos, her vision spinning in the sound shouts, footsteps, something shattering the air clashed in a cacophony. In that moment, she felt a force gathering inside her, swirling around her like a storm. Suddenly, darkness folded over her, and she blacked out while the world slipped away. When Mia came to, she defined herself trapped in a reality far different from the chaotic night of the fair. Would she be able to unlock the truth hidden within, or would the shadows consume her before she could even begin? Mia's eyes fluttered open to blinding white light. For a moment, she thought she was still dreaming. An overwhelming silence surrounded her, but it felt oppressive, like thick fog clinging to her skin. She took a shaky breath and tried to sit up, only to find herself restrained, her wrists and ankles bound to an unforgiving metal chair. Panic surged through her. She tugged at the restraints, her heart thrumming wildly in her chest. This was no fairy tale, this was real, and something had gone terribly wrong. Mia. The voice was soft, a soothing whisper cutting through the silence. It was Mr. Thompson, leaning against the wall, his expression grave. What happened? Where are we? She rasped. The room was cold and sterile, fluorescent lights humming above. We're in a facility, he answered, glancing around as if he was checking for spies. They took us when you blacked out. I couldn't fight them off. His voice was tinged with bitterness. I'm sorry. I thought we could escape, but it seems they've been preparing for this. Preparing for what? Panic squeezed her throat. What do they want from me? Don't you see? He leaned closer, his eyes going wide. It's about your past, the knowledge buried deep inside you. They want to harness it, control it. You're the key to something more powerful than you can imagine. A chill ran down her spine. The memories were swirling like shadows at the edge of her mind. But what do I even know? She stammered. Suddenly, a door opened across the room, slamming against the wall with a deafening thud. Mia squirmed in her seat, and through the doorway strode a figure she recognized from her glimpses of darkness, the cloaked shadow, now shedding its disguise. She was tall, with long, raven hair cascading over her shoulders. Her piercing blue eyes glinted with a mix of amusement and menace. Welcome back to consciousness, she said, her voice smooth yet cold, sending shivers racing down Mia's spine. I trust your slumber was rejuvenating. Mia stared, her body tense. What do you want from me? The woman stepped closer, a predator sizing up her prey. You possess skills that could alter the balance of power, my dear. With your knowledge, we can reshape the world. What knowledge? What do you expect me to do? The woman grinned again, and Mia felt small. Oh, I think you already know. You just need a little motivation to remember. Before Mia could react, the woman reached into her pocket and produced a small device, metal, intricate, and shining under the fluorescent light. A simple reminder, she said, pressing a button. A low hum filled the air, vibrating through the metal chair. Panic coursed through Mia again as she felt a jolt of energy pass through her body. She gasped, her heart racing as images began to flood her mind, languages she had never spoken, symbols, equations, and faces she had never seen. It was overwhelming, like standing in front of a vast ocean of knowledge, and she was drowning. Stop it! You can't do this! Mia cried, her voice trembling. Oh, but I can, the woman said, cruelty dancing in her eyes. And soon enough, you will willingly share all that you know. Mia's mind was filled with chaos, and just as quickly it went dark again. Darkness that felt familiar, yet terrifying. She floated in the void, and then suddenly, a different voice broke through, a voice she recognized. Mia, fight! You're stronger than they think. A flicker of hope burst within her, pushing back against the chaos. In that moment, she realized if she held the key, she could unlock more than just her past, she could redefine her future. But the question gnawed at her: could she harness this knowledge before it consumed her? As she struggled to regain control, a plan began to form, one that could either save her or plunge her deeper into a world shrouded in darkness. But the mere thought of success stirred a dread within her. What if her fight led to something worse? The darkness carried a whisper: you must take the first step to awaken, or remain forever lost. And with that whisper, a door cracked open in her mind. Would she find a way through it? Or would the shadows draw her in once more? Mia jolted upright, her heart pounding against her ribcage like a frantic bird trying to escape. The cold metal chair clung to her, an anchor in the storm of her thoughts. The room's fluorescent lights buzzed louder now, their harshness escalating the panic in her chest. Mia, Mr. Thompson's voice cut through her haze of terror. He had moved closer, intent and worried. Focus. You need to remember. You can't let her win. The woman with the raven hair strolled around them effortlessly, an air of confidence cloaking her. What a beautiful little struggle, she cooed, amusement sparkling in her eyes. But let us be honest. The truth is much more thrilling, wouldn't you agree? Shivers cascaded down Mia's spine as she felt the weight of the woman's gaze. What is it you want from me? Mia asked, swallowing hard, her voice a mere whisper. Your past is woven into threads of power, the woman replied, her tone dripping with subtle poison. You've been trained, whether you realized it or not. And now, I'm simply here to prompt you to remind you of the magic you possess. Think of it as an awakening. The idea of magic stirred a memory, faint yet tantalizing. It flickered like the fluorescent lights above. I don't know what you're talking about, Mia stammered, shaking her head. You will, the woman promised, stepping closer. But first, let us have some fun. With a swift motion, she pressed another button on the device, sending another pulse of energy through Mia. Flashes of color erupted in her mind, and suddenly she saw a glimpse of herself standing in front of a classroom, speaking fluently in different languages. Faces turned towards her, eyes wide, expressions a mix of awe and skepticism. No! No! Mia shrieked, battling against the flood of images. I don't want this. Oh, but you do, the woman insisted, her voice like silk dragging across broken glass. This is who you are. But there's more, a darker side. Memories intertwined with danger. The weight of fear settled heavily in Mia's gut. She was losing herself again, slipping into the shadows of the memories that felt too foreign to embrace. Fight. The familiar voice echoed in her mind, stronger now, shoving her out of the chaos. You have the strength, Mia. Mia clenched her fists, struggling against the bonds that held her in place. No more! She yelled, defiance surging through her veins. The shadows of her past began to solidify, and with a howl of rage she focused all her willpower on the restraints. There was an electric crackle, and suddenly they snapped. What? The woman's amusement faltered, replaced by incredulity. Without thinking, Mia pushed herself back from the chair, adrenaline drilling through her. She dashed toward the door, her breath ragged, her vision blurred with panic. But something pulled at her, an invisible tether woven from the memories the woman had awakened. Come back, Mia! The woman shouted, frustration tainting her voice. You have no idea what you're running from. But Mia didn't stop. The urge to escape propelled her forward. She burst through the door, the cold air slapping her face like a rejoicing friend after a long absence. The hallway stretched out before her, stark and sterile. She felt the vibrations of her own heart mingled with the energy of the memories swirling in her mind, each pulse of knowledge urging her to follow. Ahead, shadows danced, murmurs and laughter echoed off the walls. Mia raced toward the light beyond, the yearning for freedom sending shockwaves down her spine. But just as she thought she might break free, another figure emerged from the shadows. Looking for something? The words hung in the air, dripping with conviction. Mia halted, her hope dangling at the precipice. Who was this new opponent, and what did they know? The room behind her darkened again, a suffocating veil closing in. Had she stepped into another trap? And then she heard it, a voice deep within her, urging her again. Awaken and remember. The truth is more than a weapon, it's your only salvation. But was she strong enough to wield it? The question echoed as the unknown figure stepped forward, and her heart raced anew. What awaited her beyond the threshold? Mia's breath caught in her throat as the figure stepped into the harsh fluorescent light. A broad-shouldered man, his eyes glinting like shards of ice, moved with an eerie calm. A smirk danced on his lips, and a chill crawled up Mia's spine. Who are you? She managed to croak. Just a friend, he replied, amusement lacing his voice but lacking any warmth. Or maybe a foe. Depends on how you play this. The tension in the air shifted quickly, a sense of danger sparking like static electricity. Mia's instincts screamed at her to run, yet curiosity kept her rooted in place. There was something familiar about him, a haunting echo whispered in the depths of her fractured memory. You must be the one, the raven-haired witch sent to retrieve me, she said, desperation sharpening her words. He laughed softly, and the sound twisted her stomach. You're more special than you know, Mia. You think you're running from her? She asked, just the warm-up act. You've got bigger battles ahead. Bigger battles? Fear coiled tightly around her heart. The weight of his words dug in like sharp nails. Let me go, she demanded, summoning every bit of courage she could muster. Not so fast, little warrior, he taunted, taking a step closer. You've got potential, but you're floundering. You need guidance. I could help you. Help me? Mia echoed, anger flaring. You're just another cog in her wicked machine. I'm here to save you from it. That's the truth, he said softly, his tone shifting slightly, hinting at sincerity. You're far more powerful than either of us understand. But you need to embrace that power or it will consume you. Mia clenched her fists. Uncertainty clouded her mind. The images from earlier raced like a violent tide, her standing before enthralled students, languages swirling like a confluence of rivers. What do you know about me? She whispered, her blood running cold. He smiled, teeth flashing predatorily. I know you speak 8 languages, Mia. A talent that could elevate you above the common folk. Stop. She felt a swell of anger mixed with something else, something she couldn't articulate. You think that's all I am? A showpiece for you? Not at all, he replied with a glimmer in his eye. You have the potential to be the architect of your own destiny. Or to be a pawn, just like everyone else. His words hung heavy in the charged air, stirring something deep inside her. A flicker of rebellion sparked. I'll never be a pawn, she yelled, her voice ringing with newfound resolve. Prove it then, he challenged, his posture suddenly tense and predatory. Show me what you can do. Mia's senses flared as the connection within her started to brew. Maybe those memories weren't just shadows. Maybe she was more warrior than victim. In a heartbeat, she gathered the memories, igniting the flickering embers of magic she sensed within. Then let us see, she said, all at once electrified, steeling herself against whatever came next. But before she could act, the walls themselves seemed to tremble. The very air hummed with energy, threatening to engulf her in a whirlwind of chaos. Mia! The man shouted, his expression shifting between awe and alarm. You have to control it. Don't let it control you. The room twisted around her as she felt the darkness closing in, a tempest battling at the edges of her consciousness. Control. She screamed against the roaring winds within her. But could she really? Suddenly, light erupted from her hands, cascading through the shadows like forgotten memories released into the open. Yes. The man roared, exhilaration splashed across his face. But before Mia could take in the flow of her own power, a distant crash echoed down the hallway, snapping her focus away from the momentous surge. What was that? She gasped, heart sinking, urgency crashing down upon her like heavy waves. We might not have time, he warned, eyes wide. They've found us. You have to decide now, will you fight for the truth, or will you run? Now, as an army surged closer, Mia had only one choice: face whatever awaited her or vanish back into the shadows. What awaited her in the unknown? Corridors? Mia's breath quickened, filled with urgency and determination. It was now or never. The weight of 2 worlds pressed against her shoulders, urging her forward. She felt a spark ignite within her, a realization that she couldn't be just a victim in this tangled web of secrets. With adrenaline coursing through her veins, she nodded to the man. I'm done running. From that moment, everything shifted. The air crackled with energy as Mia focused, drawing from the reservoir of languages, memories, and emotions that made up who she was. Her hands glowed faintly, pulsing with the raw power bubbling just beneath the surface. The figure before her, the man who offered both assistance and challenge, stepped back, watching in awe as her potential flourished. That's it. Let it flow, let it guide you. Mia surged forward, bursting into the hallway bathed in dim light, tension rising with each thudding heartbeat. Sounds echoed, footsteps, whispers. They were coming. No turning back now. She rounded a corner, her instincts sharpened. The walls seemed to close in, shadows morphing into figures. A realization washed over her. They weren't just enemies. They were mirrors of herself, reflections of doubt and fear. She could confront them or let them consume her. Just as she turned, the cloaked figure reappeared, this time more menacing than before. "You can't fight your fate," the figure hissed, eyes glowing with contempt. "Yes, I can," Mia shouted, the power igniting in her voice as her hands blazed with light. Her heart thrummed against her ribcage, echoing the truth surging within her. "I choose to fight." With a thrust of her arm, the light expanded like a shockwave, pushing back the cloaked figure. The darkness screeched, almost human, as the light illuminated the corridor. Shadows retreated, but she felt the pulse of more approaching. The man stayed close, his presence like an anchor against the storm. "Now! Keep moving!" They darted through the chaos, Mia's fury fueling her, each language she spoke feeding strength into her resolve. She was more than just a girl who could speak 8 languages, she was a force to be reckoned with, a bridge between worlds. As they reached an intersection, she stopped, catching her breath. "Where do we go? What's the plan?" "Follow me," he urged, leading her into a room buzzing with activity computers and screens, frantic figures consumed with the chaos of her escape. "We can use this to our advantage." Mia stepped inside, the energy around her merging with the hum of technology, reinvigorating her spirit. "We can turn this against them," she exclaimed. "Exactly." With a quick motion, he began cranking buttons, accessing files. Mia focused on the screens, letting her newfound power meld with the technology. Suddenly, a series of flashes ignited her memory, frames of her past clicked together, creating a clearer picture of her family, her mother, their hidden truth. This knowledge surged through her, and a cocktail of emotions bubbled up: anger, sadness, purpose. Just then, the loud crash from before rang again, now more pronounced, echoing through the walls. "They're on us!" the man yelled, urgency lacing his voice. "We have to finish this." Mia turned back to the screens, her heart racing as she accessed files directly tied to her mother. "This is it. This is what they were hiding from me." Her eyes widened at the mention of an operation labeled Awakening, and dread twisted in her gut. She held the truth, she had the power to expose it. This can bring them down. Just then, alarms blared. "Get ready! Let them come," Mia asserted, her voice dipped in steel. She felt strong, ready for whatever storm awaited them. "I won't be silenced anymore." The figure burst through the door, cloaked in shadows, but this time Mia stood tall, electricity sparking around her. Light radiated from her, illuminating the flickering room. "This is my truth," she declared, her voice forging a path through the dark. "You'll regret this," the cloaked figure hissed, lunging into the light. But Mia was ready. She thrust her hands forward, channeling everything she had, every language, every lesson, every memory. The light erupted, washing over the room like a cleansing wave. "No!" the figure shrieked, retreating into the shadows, defeated by Mia's unwavering resolve. As the light faded, the room became still, a calm settling over the chaos. Mia felt a sense of clarity washing over her. "It's time to reclaim my story," she whispered, grounded in her purpose and the knowledge she had uncovered. With the man beside her, she took a deep breath, fully aware of the battles ahead but ready to face them head-on. "Let us do this," she said, her voice steady and sure. They stepped forward together, ready for discovery and prepared to uncover the depths of her past, weaving through the labyrinth of fate to rewrite their futures. And just like that, Mia stepped into her own light, determined to confront whatever lay ahead. Now that you've followed Mia's journey, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm, and keep the content flowing. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this conclusion. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this epic finale. Your support matters, and only true fans understand the importance of coming together.